Hello, Matt. A happy Honda Days to you.
And a merry Toyota-thon back to you.
And blessings upon us all. May we all enjoy the winter car sale that's closest to us, and that means the most to our people and to our families.
Give your players a magical hell cart with a giant ribbon on it.
That's right.
Leave it in the driveway, and they will love you forever.
Place a box on your game mat, and inside is a miniature of a hell vehicle wrapped in a bow. Welcome everyone to another episode of Dungeon Master of None. I'm Dungeon Master Rob.
I'm Dungeon Master Matt.
And this is, in case you're not aware, our 100th episode of Dungeon Master of None. So let's just take a brief moment to
remember the fallen.
To think of those who came before, all the podcasts that didn't make it, all
the actual plays that sputtered after 5 episodes,
all the bodies that we climbed over to get here.
The characters that were rolled up but never saw a session of play.
All the parties that were total killed as we were learning how to really be a dungeon master. No, we wanted to...
All the game systems that were published and had artwork that probably no one will ever play because they're really
all the
bad.
times we tried to play something that wasn't Dungeons and Dragons and it went okay.
So Dungeons and Dragons again next week? Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons. But no, we wanted to talk about why we do this very briefly, since this is a nice big round number and some of you are new listeners, and it's really pretty simple, but Dungeons and Dragons is for everybody. You don't have to be intimidated to start out as a DM, and it should be easier and more fun, and nobody should tell you how to have fun doing it, basically.
Dungeons and Dragons is one of the most fun things you can do with your friends. It's for everyone, and if you ever want a dungeon master, you can do it. It just takes time, practice, money, resources,
experience,
the protection of private property by the state, which is its only function, and listening to this podcast.
Friends, scheduling, free time. You can't have children.
Cheese pizza.
You have to have no pride. Anyway, no. All you need is your friends and an imagination.
Listen, if you've ever pictured yourself just utterly making a fool out of yourself, hunched over, making a squeaky goblin voice in front of your loved ones, dungeon mastering is for you.
It's
we're here to help you.
Absolutely.
Through 100 episodes and 100 more. Maybe.
Hopefully. Here's hoping. Today, in honor of our 100th episode, we are going to do something very straightforward, and we are going to tell you our top 100 Dungeon Master tips. So if you ever wanted to listen to a countdown from 100 to 1, this is the episode for you.
It's the countdown to Christmas countdown.
That's right. Matt, I think that unless
we actually put work into this episode.
Yeah,
hey,
we did literal minutes of prep. That's valuable prep time that could have been spent on prepping for our games that we would then proceed to ignore. Our players would invalidate immediately. So, understand how valuable this is for us. I don't think there's anything holding us back. So let's just get to it, Matt.
Let's load up my Homer Simpson Power Hour mix, and let's start those. Where Rob and I are taking a shot after every tip.
That's right.
So we've got to really buckle down.
Yeah.
Okay, tip 100. This is the first of the 6 DM forbidden commandments. Thou shalt not punish players for out-of-character actions with in-game consequences and vice versa.
Yes, this should go without saying, but It doesn't matter what your player does in-game or out of game. The two things are unrelated. Keep them separate. This is a big-time, major no-no.
Just because your friend forgot to give you gas money last week doesn't mean that they don't get a magic sword.
That's right.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. The second of the thou shalt nots is...
Tip 99.
99 is thou shalt not imitate Matt Mercer. And that doesn't mean you can't draw inspiration from Matt Mercer or from...
I mean, all you gotta do is condition your hair.
That's right.
It's just conditioner.
Well, you should imitate him in his good hygiene and style of dress. But otherwise, don't imitate Matt Mercer. Your game does not need to be exactly like Critical Role. It doesn't need to be like Friends at the Table or the Adventure Zone. You can draw inspiration, but please, for the love of God, don't subject your players to a, blow-by-blow repetition of another game that you have seen. Don't do it.
You won't be able to. You will fail, and everyone will be sad.
Everyone will be upset.
Number 98, thou shalt not make your game a novel.
Yes, this is very simple. If you have a novel that you're working on or a story that you've been building or...
Write that novel
Write
instead.
that down. This is not the place for you to explore those ideas. And the reason for that is that...
Your novel sucks and you'll never succeed as a writer, which is what I tell Rob every morning. I have it on an auto
every time before the podcast happens, I tell Matt about my novel, and he tells me that I suck and I'll never succeed. And it's how we've gotten so far. Yeah. No, this is just not the right place for it. You'll be disappointed. Your players will be disappointed. Don't do it. Number 97 is thou shalt not dominate your players. And this means... generally, thou shalt not tell them what their characters do, and also literally, maybe just don't ever cast the dominate spell on any of your PCs unless you have a very good reason for doing so.
It's got to be a very special reason.
Yes.
Honestly, this is the one thing. It's like, hands off. Don't fuck with this.
Yes. Do not take control of your players' characters for any reason. It is unfun and bad.
Almost any reason.
It's
definitely, it's
a real like edge corner case.
And that leads us to tip 96. Thou shalt not create a Dungeon Master PC or a DM PC.
Yes.
The 4 letters of doom.
The letters of doom. This does not mean that you cannot have NPCs help your players out. It means that you should not have a self-insert or a PC that is for you to play. That is not what the game is.
They're called hirelings, folks.
That's not what the game is about, and it never goes well, and it will not be fun. So don't do it. Number 95 is thou shalt not railroad your players. And this is a very basic thing, but just know that your players should have at least the illusion of choice. You can do a very good job of guiding them to where they need to go, but do not force them upon your railroad tracks.
This is a bigger forbidden commandment than we have time to get into, but you cannot script out a game of Dungeons & Dragons or any role-playing game, so don't try.
Yes, don't try.
Tip 94, and we collected a couple tips from some of our favorite friends on the internet, and tip 94 is just read over your characters in your game, your player characters. Read your character sheets. This is from Mike Shia of Sly Flourish on the internet, and this is a very basic tip.
Author of the Lazy DM's Workbook, a great resource for saving you time and energy. Look into it.
Absolutely. Looking for some Toyota-thon gifts? Get that. But if you have not thought to do this, right, you should read your players' character sheets, right? And this can be reading their background and flaws and traits, but, you should be familiar with that thief's cunning action and what it can do, or what spells your cleric has, because it's part of your job to help them play their characters.
That's not simple. Just make sure that you know the characters that are in your game and you're playing to their strengths and weaknesses. Number 93, the odd detail. And this is just the idea that there is something about a trap or a trapped area to indicate that it is different.
Traps are a tricky
yes.
business, right? They're almost, they're tricksters. And this is from the blog of Holding, and, it's okay. Let your players find and discover traps. If they find and discover 9 out of 10 traps, that still means one trap gets them.
Traps are like a critical part of D&D, but it's just so frustrating. to be wandering along and your passive perception isn't high enough, and boom, you're all plunged into a pit. That is unfun. It sucks. And nobody wants to be the rogue who walks down every corridor and says, well, I poke the next 5-foot square with my 10-foot pole. That's just no fun. Yeah.
It can be a piece of rubble on the ground, a mysterious fog covering this hallway. You know, you got to give your players a chance to find the traps and a reason to investigate. And again, it makes it all that more satisfying for both you and your players when you give them that odd detail and they don't investigate, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, well, I see clearly that here's a chance to notice something was different, and I didn't."
Next rule, Matt.
Oh yeah, is it my turn to read? Sorry. Tip 92. This is one of my favorite tips, the 3-clue rule from the Alexandrian.net, one of my favorite blogs on running the game. Basically says that if you're trying to have a piece of information for your players to discover, they're going to miss the first clue, misinterpret the second, and finally get the third. The basic idea is if you want your players to find out some information, put it into your game many, 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 many times.
That's right. 3 is a good rule of thumb. Put it in there at least 3 times. That's, plenty of opportunity for your players to get it right. Number 91 is to make your choices meaningful. This is known as the quantum ogre problem, referring to a situation in which your players can go down either fork in a road, but there's an ogre. No matter which way they go, they're attacked by an ogre. So the
ogre exists in a state of quantum reality. If they go north, the ogre is in the north road. If they go south, the ogre is in the south.
The ogre
road.
Does not exist until it is observed, and it is
encountered by the players. Yes. If you're putting these kind of choices in, don't, because it's not a choice.
Yes.
If both results are the same,
either don't give them a choice or make the choice matter. Both are valid, but don't have a choice and then have it not matter.
Oh man, this next one's one of my favorite in that it explains so much, and it's hard to actually see as a new player. Or new DM, I guess.
This one's you, Matt.
Oh, this one's me? Man, well, we're going to fall apart here.
I am keeping track, Matt. I am keeping track, okay?
These shots are really getting to me, Rob. Could we switch to, shots of wine coolers or something like that?
Well, Matt, let it be known that Matt and I are now taking sips of White Claw instead of shots to make sure that we can survive a little longer.
All right. This one is tip 90. Let players argue about what to do. Don't let them argue about the rules. That's when you step in as a referee. When you're arguing about what to do, that's playing the game.
Yep. That's a very simple rule of thumb that will save you a ton of time and energy. The moment somebody starts arguing about the rules, move on. Step in, give a ruling, but they can argue as long as they want about decisions to make within the game. Within reason.
When players are arguing about what to do, that's where I ring a little bell and say, "That's Dungeons and Dragons, baby." That's it right there. You just did a Dungeons and Dragons. You're arguing about what your party should do.
You point to a board and say, "That's Dungeon Wang," and move on. All right.
No. When players are arguing about the rules, it can not just be a rules interpretation, but what is the sort of in-world outcome of casting this spell or something like that? Help them clarify that, right? Help them clarify how the rules work, but not what their action should be. Boom.
Number 89, and I think this tip has both been put forward by Adam Coble and Matt Colville at different times.
This tip's been said by everyone,
but I think they deserve credit for being proponents of it. But it's just say yes or roll the dice. Don't waffle. Just answer affirmatively or make it a dice roll. But yeah,
your player wants to do an action. Say that action is accomplished, or make them make some kind of check. It's just that simple. This works best in a system like Dungeon World, but there's no reason why it can't work in 99% of the cases of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
Number 80, crazy 88. Listen, Never be afraid to change a rule that isn't working at your table. Homebrewing has its downfalls, and house ruling has its downfalls, but you're the final arbiter of this. As long as you're fair and considerate of everyone, don't be afraid to change something.
There is no greater sign of maturity and humility in life or in Dungeons and Dragons than admitting you were wrong. And if something doesn't work, just say so. Don't double down. Don't try to keep it in to save face. Just say
you're not a referee in in Major League Baseball. You don't have to turn your hat backwards and get in the player's face and argue.
That's right.
You're a referee in the Japanese baseball league where the umpires are courteous and kind.
Just leave your pride at home. Number 87, connect your players' backstories. This is harder or easier depending on the game, but talk to your players, get their backstories, and pitch them ways that they can work together. There are some great systems that do this for you. Dungeon World or all the Powered by the Apocalypse games have them, but you just do it.
We love the character backstory cards.
Yep.
We've talked about on the DM's Guild before. But this doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing.
Yep.
If two players want to be best friends before the adventure started, that's wonderful.
Yep.
Let them do that. Number 86, right? This will save you time, energy, and sanity. Reskin when you can. Don't design from scratch. Listen, when you want to make a monster, steal from another monster of the appropriate challenge rating and change what the description of its things are. That's reskinning, baby.
You do not need to start from, you do not need to build every creature up from its hit die forward. You can just pick something that seems like it, change some abilities, or change nothing at all and call it something else. Boom. Beautiful. Your players will never know the difference.
In fact, they never will. The smart players that think they will know the difference will never know the difference.
They will never know the difference.
I've reskinned probably hundreds of monsters in my day. I've had players with all kinds of experience. No one has ever guessed when I've reskinned a monster.
Yep. Number 85. Miniatures are great, but not everything needs to be done with miniatures. Use miniatures as you would seasoning. Selectively.
Bam, kick it up a notch with it.
But it does not need too much. Is going to just ruin your stew, which is the game.
I love having miniatures. The one thing to remember is that not everything that happens at your table has to be gridded out and with everyone's miniature placed. You don't need a miniature for every monster. People have imaginations. You have words to explain things. You don't always need miniatures. Number 84, start a journal or a campaign diary to track important plot points. We've talked about this before. At the end of every session, you or a player you designate can write up a summary of what happened that session. When you've done 25 sessions in a campaign, you may be thankful for this.
Yep. It's very simple. Just do it. Number 83, give your players a ship, a tavern, a keep, something that unites the group and gives them something to collectively care about. This could also be as simple as a friendly NPC or horses with names. But give them...
Horses with names.
Give them something to care about.
Powerful motivation for players.
Give them something real and tangible that, will tie them a little bit to the area that they're in. The world that they're playing in. That's it. It's that simple.
Give them an adorable pug dog that can only eat Electrum. It will give them a reason to go kill monsters so they can feed their dog because he's cursed and can only eat Electrum.
Cursed.
We will not let you die. Tip 82. Put your time when preparing as a dungeon master into preparing the parts and aspects of the game that you feel like are your strength and that you love.
Do not feel obligated to create a map of every area if you do not love maps. Do not feel obligated to understand the specific currency of the region that you're in if you don't love numismatism. Just do the things that you like. And if your players
if you like designing cool monsters, spend lots of time designing cool monsters. Your players will love it.
And you will enjoy it. It's that simple. Tip number 81. Tell your players what their characters sense. not what they feel. This is a rookie mistake, but don't say, ooh,
Rob,
your players...
your paladin feels afraid.
My paladin never feels fear, Matt, because he is immune to it.
There you go. There's your mistake. Don't tell them what they feel.
That's right. Just tell them what they sense.
If you find yourself doing this, replace it with, what are your characters thinking and feeling right now? Quick whip around the table.
80.
Tip 80. Knowing how to adjudicate rules is more important than knowing every rule.
Yes. Do not... some DMs will naturally know every single rule in the book. I don't. Matt doesn't. I never have and never will.
I do not.
It is not important. I have already talked about on this podcast how I was running the bonus spell action incorrectly for many years, possibly. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. The more important thing is knowing how to come up with, for whatever situation arises, a way to resolve it in the moment so that you can move on and continue playing the game. You can always come back later.
Yes. Tip number 79 is a great one because it acknowledges the truth of Dungeons & Dragons, which is that the real end boss is trying to get adults together every week for a few hours at a time. Establish clear rules about when
you will never defeat me. Lack of babysitter. And obligatory working group meetings for unnamed socialist organizations.
Unscheduled PTA organization events. Establish clear rules for when to play and when not to play. And so for my group, that is, if we have 3 people, that's a quorum, we're going to play. And that's about as complicated as it gets. And I stick to that rule hard and fast, so no one feels like they're being singled out.
Yeah, you don't want someone to feel like, oh, when I can't make it, we always play.
Right.
But we all know when Susan can't make it, we never play, right? Because Susan's more important, right?
Don't
make some
like
fail
that.
rules. Is the next one the best tip? I think it's the best tip. It's very simple. Always have a list of names handy.
Yep. Just write down some names. List. Your players are going to ask who the bartender is, and you're not going to know. And you're just going to look at your sheet and say, "Oh, that's Elfindar, Greensleeves," and you will feel so glad that you wrote that down a year ago so that you don't have to come up with Elfindar Greensleeves off the top of your head.
Listen, you can get as complicated as you want with this. You can have names out by gender identity, by species. You can have names for places and ships and other things, or you can just have at least 10 random names as the basics. Yep.
This is a great GM hack. Just do this. Number 77 is read other game systems and learn from them. You may or may not be able to actually borrow anything directly, but this is just a great way to understand gaming and will give you some ideas for how to better run your games. It's a great tip.
Hey, there are other ways to play a game than having a game where you roll a d20 and have 6 stats. There are other mechanics for resolving things.
There are games that have no dice whatsoever, and you can borrow those ideas and resolution systems for certain aspects of Dungeons & Dragons, if that is your game of choice.
Number 76, read some published modules. Steal everything from them.
Just familiarize yourself with how they look, what they're like. Grab some of the cheaper free ones. This is useful. This will help you build your own adventures. It will also help you run future adventures, and it'll give you an idea of how to frame your game. It's no reason not to.
When I was a young dungeon master, I just reskinned monsters. Now I'm older and wiser, and I reskin whole encounters.
Speaking of, tip number 75 is that CR is a mostly useless guideline when building encounters. Do not math out the CR and say, oh, I've presented my level 3 party with, 10 shadows. That's a CR whatever encounter. And then act surprised when they're ruthlessly murdered by something like that. Similarly, don't throw a, young white dragon at your party of,
level 1 characters.
Right, and expect them or expect it to survive or equally, just think about how the encounter will play out. Think about the numbers and action economy. Think about the area. CR is a guideline, but it is not a particularly useful one.
Right. You've got nothing will replace reading the monster and doing a little bit of math in your head and being like, will anyone be able to hit this? Will this be able to wipe them out with one of its abilities?
How hard is this save to make, which everybody has to make?
Tip 74. It's more important to know what an NPC wants than anything else.
Yes. When
the three tips to building good NPCs: motivation, motivation, motivation.
Less so than their class or species or anything else is what they want. Just make sure that, especially if it is an extended encounter, that you know what the NPC wants out of it. Number 73. Practice presences or ways of speaking and not just accents. Right? If you don't, accents are hard. And also you sound like a goofus doing them unless you're really good.
Yep.
You can still have distinct characters that just speak in a certain way. They speak slowly. They're like a tough guy. They're snooty. Throw in a bro or like a valley girl. Like somebody how to sound like that is distinct, that doesn't necessarily you don't have to master all accents to be a good dungeon master and have distinct NPCs.
Well, Paladin, why don't you climb up on your celestial seed and ride off into the sunset?
Hey kid, I like where your head's at, and I want to see more of it. Let's get down to it and kick in the doors and check out some dames.
Next tip is number 72, practice 2 or 3 accents. The 2 accents you need to learn are 1, Joe Pesci, 2, Tom Harding as Bane from that Batman.
That's right.
Those are the only 2 voices you need.
The only 2 voices. Alternatively, you could instead learn any 1 Joker, but not 2.
Right.
Either Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson or Cesar Romero, but not more than 1, and a Batman. Those are the 2 accents, and then that'll get you through all of your heroes and villains. No problem. Yeah, 2 to 3 accents.
1 Adam West.
More realistically, like
right.
If you could do like, I don't know, a British accent, you can probably rough out a Cockney one and a couple of others. Similarly, if you can do a French accent, you can probably approximate maybe a Spanish one or an Italian one,
surprise your characters. Throw a Canadian accent at them, OA.
Maybe you're from the South and you have a masterful understanding of Deep South versus, redneck type accents. Give them a good Deep Virginia and, an Alabama, as well as a redneck drawl. But 2 or 3 is plenty. That'll get you through most of your game.
Yeah. Tidewater, Virginia, number 1.
71 is an unfinished tip, so Matt's gonna have to tell me what it means.
Okay. Wait, what do we write here? 71. Always add 3 times the amount of information about something you want your players to know than you were originally planning.
Okay.
If you want your players to know that a forgotten ruin lies to the north of the town, make sure that the village bard knows about it. There's an old rune post in the middle of the town that points the way there, and several divination spells exist that point towards it. Plus, there's a goblin that lives there, and he tells you it's there. But as much information about things you want to know in the game.
This is a repeat of the Alexandrians 3 clue rule. So I am going to improvise a tip.
Improvise.
Real quick, because...
Tip 71, learn how to improvise.
Tip 71. Have a plan for when things go wrong.
Excellent.
This is... we talk about this in a little bit more detail in some later tips, but listen, your game isn't going to go the way that it's supposed to, so just be ready for it. Have a backup plan. Always have a contingency, whether it has to do with scheduling, or with your players killing your big bad in the first round of combat. Okay, back on track.
Tip 70. Listen, when you're plotting out your campaign, plot out scenarios and situations, not explicitly chains of linear events, right? Try not to assume that your players are going to pick a certain course of events, right? Create an interesting scenario and plop your players down into it and see what happens. Instead, plot out how everyone's going to react.
This isn't a ton of extra work. It just means planning a few extra steps along the way. And it's just going to work out better. Tip number 69, nice,
Woo-hoo, nice,
is, and this is a real advanced DM tip, but I approve of it, always roll in the open. It's a bit like playing without a net, but listen, once you can do this and still run your game, you are as close to DM mastery as you are ever going to get.
If you don't want it to be left to random chance, then don't make a roll for it. If you do, show your players you're not messing around.
Yep.
They will come to fear the consequences of their actions, and they'll actually feel the game is more fair, too.
Yep. It's a good tip.
Nice. Tip 68. Show, don't tell your world building. Are the people from the northern deserts traders and merchants? Have your players meet a merchant from the north, right?
Yes.
Don't just have someone tell them this is the way things are.
You don't have to innovate everywhere. You can have a tribe of northern barbarians, but don't say they're a tribe of northern barbarians. Have them walk up carrying axes, wearing furs, describing the mountains of the north. This is a simple way to add a little bit of depth to your world building.
Yeah, if you really want to emphasize the fact that your campaign is probably going to evolve around the ruined elven empire, which has left 12 beautiful face spires throughout the land, make sure your players are seeing things from those face spires and that ruined elven empire. Don't just have exposition dumps that tell them about it.
Tip number 67. You don't need to be a mathematician, but try to understand the basic probabilities of the game. Like, how likely is it that you will roll a d10? How much does giving a player a +2 increase their likelihood of achieving something? A good rule of thumb is that rolling 2 d20s and taking the higher is the same as +5 to any given roll, right?
Yep.
You don't have to know all of these.
Understand advantage and disadvantage. They have some mathematical implications. You don't have to get really into it, but understand what a DC 5 means for a character with a +4 bonus. It means they're going to succeed.
Hey,
right?
Listen.
That's fine.
Also,
understand that.
I'm not great at math either. Somebody has done this work for you. You don't have to start from scratch. Just look it up. Just have them written down somewhere. You don't have to know the math. Just look up what other people have done.
All we're asking you to do is, at the end of the day, realize that when you're giving your players numbers to roll against, those numbers have like a mathematical meaning. And if you understand that, it lets you gauge, when should I make things a DC 15 versus a DC 12, right? It's not that big of a deal, but it helps. Tip 66. Nothing is better for solving a lot of the conflicts and problems that you have among the people playing your game than actually just sitting down and talking with your players outside the game, right?
Highly, highly underrated tool. Don't avoid it. If something's going wrong, just sit down and say, hey, how can we make this work? It's better than all the other options. Just do that.
I mean, we love when people write in with their problems at their table, and we always are like, yeah, I guess one piece of advice is like, make sure you talk to this person about that. That doesn't work in every scenario, but it's probably the one most likely to work in the most scenarios.
Yep. 65. Let your players have the spotlight and shine. Pay attention to what your players like, what their characters are into, and give them a chance to do that. If they love solving puzzles, either in character or out, give them a puzzle. If they're a barbarian that loves to smash, let them smash. It's that simple.
If you have a rogue that loves to steal, give them an opportunity to steal something cool, right?
Especially that last one, because if you don't, they will steal from their party, and that is no fun for anybody. So give them opportunities to steal.
Number 64. Listen, when you're plotting things out, give your players more options for adventure than they're ever going to have the time to explore. Make your world feel big.
Make the world feel big. Make them feel like there's a lot of things going on, even things beyond the campaign. They are not the only people in the world. It's a good feeling.
Makes you feel alive.
Number 63. Comedy is as important as drama. Even the greatest dramas include substantial comedy. Your game does not need to be and should not be super serious all the time. The great 1930s film Sullivan's Travels, from whence the title "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" comes from, is about a screenwriter who wants to write the next great drama called "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," but then he gets knocked on the head and gets mistaken for a vagrant and goes. I don't remember. Anyway, the point is that he's in prison with all these down on their luck guys, and they're watching a cartoon with the wolf, the with the eyes that pop out and gets hit on the head a bunch.
Tongue rolls out. Yeah. Okay.
And they're all laughing, and Sullivan realizes that's bringing these men joy. That what he's always done, the comedies that he's always written, that people love them. People love those. Anyway, drama, comedy, Apollo, Dionysus, each valuable in their own right, but don't be so serious about your games, I guess is really what I'm getting at here.
God, Rob, that was an amazing impression of a smooth-brained Joe Biden melting down and ranting about something related to the topic.
Totally
I wasn't exactly sure what you're saying, Apollo, Dionysus, but you mentioned your leg hair, the swimming pool, and corn pop.
That's right, corn pop.
You got me. Honestly, like Joe Biden, I don't know what you said, Rob, but I agree.
But you liked hearing it, right? That's what it's all about.
I felt comforted and warm. Tip 62: not every fight needs to be a fight to the death, or even a fight at all. Some of the most fun quote-unquote combats are chases, games of keep away, escapes, right?
Yeah. This is a great one, especially the games of keep away. Remember all the greatest Jackie Chan movies and the greatest fights where he's trying to protect a priceless Ming vase or, I don't know, a child or something.
Kung Fu with a baby.
Kung Fu with a baby. Great. Your players, especially if the villain that they need to fight isn't one that you want to ruthlessly murder right away, give them something to protect or keep away or deal with while they're fighting. Or not fighting at all.
Even more simply, even if you're still doing combat, not every combat's to the death. In fact, most combats are not. So it'll make your game go faster and feel more fun.
Yep.
Do it.
Number 61. Play through a classic dungeon. We've talked about the Ghost of Saltmarsh, Keep on the Borderlands, the Village of Hamlet. These are classics for a reason. Some stuff is dated, but the ones that have stuck around are really, really well crafted. Use these for ideas about how to run encounters, how to build a mystery, and how to just sort of start and structure a campaign.
Your players are going to have a good time. I guarantee it, right? Especially if they're used to maybe a more recent style of play. It'll be a great experience for them. Tip 60, teach caution and teach hubris. If you have timid players who are scared of action, right? Let them cut through a horde of morks. That's my name for mook orcs. And, just watch them slice through them like butter, or give them something that's really easy to solve, a fun puzzle or a riddle that's super easy. Do you have players who never stop to think? Throw some rust monsters at them. And watch them lose some things because they were not cautious enough. Right?
This is important calibration. If your players are too timid, give them some easy wins. Let them go through a dungeon where there are not any horrible traps or the enemies they defeat are manageable. And especially, this is definitely more problem the other direction. Especially if they just charge headfirst into whatever. Have them charge headfirst into something they literally can't handle. Just not something that's going to kill them, but to teach them a little lesson.
Listen, I see these dungeon masters complaining about, either my players are too cautious or they're not cautious enough. And now that's not always the dungeon master's fault, but if you've never given them an encounter where they've had a reason to be cautious or a reason to be bold, then maybe that behavior is something you have instructed them to do. And mix it up.
Number 59, give your players rewards that make them feel cool. Some great examples of this are garments or clothing. Right, especially ones that can like change fabric or are exceptionally interesting. That might not affect the game a whole lot, but it's fun for the characters.
They want to look and feel like cool heroes, especially after they've leveled up. Give them an adorable baby.
Give them a pet. Give them a cool pet that they can protect and feel good about. Give them a weapon that's flashy and interesting, but not like game breaking. Right? Give them a music box that allows them to cast a spell. Once a week or something, but it's cool and useful and has history to it, even though it doesn't massively affect the game. Give them something that's neat.
Give them some armor that they can that grows from a magical necklace that they wear around their neck. Does it make them that much more powerful? Not really, but they're now a hero that they can speak a magic word, and their magical necklace surrounds them in super cool enameled plate mail.
Exactly.
Cool. Tip 58. Alignment, if you're using it in Dungeons & Dragons, is a guide and not a hard rule. Don't limit your NPCs or your players.
Number 57, send your players out into the multiverse of the fantastic. Listen, D&D is a game that includes psionics and aliens and canonically all these weird things, spaceships and spelljammers.
Hell itself.
Include some of these things. It's fun. Send them to the moon.
Yes, send them to a river of pure emotion, right?
Yep.
Have them fight on a magical rainbow against a god's avatar, right? If you're only in medieval towns, you're going to get sad. Tip 56. If you haven't done so yet, get some graph paper, draw a level of a dungeon. It's fun.
It's fun. It's good practice.
Relaxing.
Yeah, it's nice. Don't have to use it.
Makes me feel nice, even if I don't use it.
Yep.
It's good.
Tip number 55. There are 14 monster types in the game. Vary them. Even if you are in a high drama, Game of Thrones style campaign where you're only fighting, the henchmen of a human foe, have them stumble upon a swamp full of dead men, have a griffin swoop out of the sky. Listen, vary it.
No one wants to fight zombies or bandits 5 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Tip 54. Nothing is more boring than the +1 sword.
Exceptions for ones that are mass-produced, especially mass-produced wands, which is actually kind of neat. But yeah, don't just give your players a +1 sword. Give them something else.
Yeah, make it an interesting magic item.
Number 53, whatever system you use, have a system for tracking initiative or turns in combat or similar situations. Playing cards are good for this, or just write it down, but figure out what you're going to do and do it every single time, because you are going to do it all the time, and the faster and quicker you figure this out, the better.
You just have to have a system to save you time to know whose turn it is when you're in combat. Simple as that. Tip 52. Actions have consequences. Don't be afraid to confront your players with the consequences of their own making.
If your players walk into the throne room and show their ass, literally or figuratively, put them in the dungeon for a night. That's what happens when you act like an ass in front of the king. Don't punish them needlessly, but actions have consequences.
Absolutely.
Tip number 51. Read more fiction. These are stories. We are storytellers. You are telling a story. And then steal ideas in the fictions that you're reading. Read outside of the fantasy genre. I promise it will help.
Yeah. Read The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. Read Clear and Present Danger by Tom Clancy.
Read Executive Decisions by Tom Clancy, where the Pentagon is hit by a plane turned into a bomb, which was written before 9/11.
Read The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale.
read how to make friends and influence people by what's his face, Carnegie.
Chicken Soup for the Soul. That's his name. Rob, I know we're pressed for time, but you're not going to believe this. I can't believe I just thought of this. As a historian, Norman Vincent Peale's influence on the modern conservative movement is in fact very, very deep. I was once at a wedding where a drunk uncle kept talking about how he had met and several times Norman Vincent Peale and considered him his mentor and brought it into the toast he gave for the bride and groom. It was very, very awkward.
That's very weird. This is uncle of yours?
It was incredibly strange. No, this person who will never listen to the podcast is completely unrelated.
Oh, okay.
It was just a wedding. I was just an attendant.
Amazing. Norman Vincent Peale. Incredible stuff.
Norman Vincent Peale.
We're on 50.
Need some names for your NPCs: Norman, Vincent, and Peel. There you go. Let's see. Tip 50. Make your MacGuffins matter. If you can replace a MacGuffin with a glowing suitcase, it doesn't matter. Think Ark of the Covenant, not the Maltese Falcon.
Right. Unless the point of the story is that the MacGuffin doesn't matter, but that's a lot more difficult to...
Right.
But it's
assuming you're playing Dungeons & Dragons.
Yes. Generally, since this is Dungeons & Dragons, the magical artifact should do something. It should have a purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
A purpose that your players care about, right?
Number 49, end combats when the conclusion has been reached. Ooh, I'm such a big fan of this one. Look,
it's good.
If they're gonna win, and like they've knocked the last two guys down to 1 hit point, don't make them continue to fight. Just have them surrender or say, oh, you put them down. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to map out. You don't have to determine where every last hit point goes.
Your time at the table is precious. If you're going to be doing something more fun than finishing a combat where you know the outcome, say it wraps up and move on. Keep in mind, don't rob players if you could tell you have that one person who's like, I really want to chop the head off of this last goblin.
Right.
But, otherwise, move on.
Yeah. Combats, listen, anything you can do to speed up combat is going to make the game better. Do it.
Tip 48, use rewards other than gold or XP.
Followers are a good one. Titles are a great one. You can give as much gold and XP as you want, but at a certain point, it stops being meaningful. And something like a title granted by the Lord or, a patch of land that they will someday be able to build a castle on, or like we mentioned before, a tavern or a ship, something with some meaning that may not have actual stats, right?
Human beings love fucking stickers. Don't know why, but they do. Give your players some in-game stickers.
Give them some stairs. People love stairs. Give them
stickers.
Snickers?
Stickers, right? Like the things you stick on things. Stairs. Why would they love stairs?
Well, I was thinking a tower.
People love elevators.
I love
Rob,
stairs.
Not stairs.
Stairs make you feel like you're powerful, like you're important.
Well, okay. I'm not Rocky.
How many stories does your house have, Matt? That's right. It just has one.
Well,
that's right.
There's no need to bring that up. People are slowly narrowing down my location after I took a selfie on East Witcher Lane, and now they know I live in a one-story house. I can feel the wolves closing in, Rob.
47.
Next tip.
Think about downtime. What do players do between adventures? There are a lot of really good resources here. A lot has been written about downtime. Some of it, I think, more useful than others, but at least consider it, right? If as long as your campaign isn't like a mad dash from start to finish, figure out what your players are doing in between and ask them. Let them do some things.
Players love downtime, and this is a great spot for them to just be like, I am telling you what I am going to do.
Yep.
Perfect. And again, this is a great time to employ say yes or roll the dice, right? You can roll the dice for downtime, or just give them what they say they're going to do during the downtime.
Yep.
It will probably be something lame.
I'm
taking up knitting. Okay, sure.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Roll
Whatever.
for knitting.
All right. Just say yes for that one. Tip 46, say goodbye to the box, right? Stop having your combat in a square room. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Rotating platform, a deck of a ship is a really good one. Add some weather effects. It's a storm. I think this is an advanced tip, but once you master this and once you start using this, more regularly, this is such a great thing, especially for D&D, which is so tactically based. Just add some levels, right? Upstairs, downstairs.
In the ladies' chamber, on a solid river of souls that is floating and swirling around in the middle of a whirlpool of quicksilver.
Floating islands of, god flesh in a storm in the astral plane. Just get wild with it,
Mess with gravity, right?
Ooh,
make every surface gravity, or, just jets of water, spell effects, swinging pendulums, anything you can do, or better yet, put it on something moving.
Tip number 45. Understand the 3 pillars of gameplay, and this is specific to D&D. Exploration,
location,
interaction, and combat. Generally, everything falls into one of these 3. However, don't let this be a straitjacket. Just sort of understand that you're going to want to sort of put things into these general, very loose buckets, just to help you understand the game that you're running.
Listen, whatever you're doing as a dungeon master, right? Think about how it fits into common foreign policy, common security policy, or the European community. The 3 pillars. That's what we're talking about?
That's right.
The Treaty of Maastricht?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tip 44. Keep your NPC stats simple.
Do not stat on all your NPCs. Keep some basic stats on hand if, God forbid, a fight breaks out and you need to know, but you don't need to stat on all your NPCs.
Yeah. The king has a +4 on diplomacy and a +1 to all his slaves and 12 hit points. There you go. That's all you need.
Yep. Number 43 is an easy one. Use that consent checklist. Just get in the habit of using it. We liked that. We love it. It's a great way to avoid a lot of the problems that we get written to about. So just do it.
Tip 42. Hey, that's Rob. It's tip 42.
Tip 42. That's the
special nerd
That's the funny number. That's the Douglas Adams Hitchhiker Guide number. It's 42.
Yes,
42, folks.
You've gotten the reference.
42. That's number wang.
Yeah, it's number wang. Rob, you got the reference, which means among nerds that was a joke, right? I said the number 42, and you recognized what it was.
I recognized it.
Joke made. Good job. Tip 42, cheat. Reuse or borrow NPCs, ideas, or places wherever you can. Listen, I've done so many campaigns where a different version of the same NPC has popped up. No one's ever noticed, right? Different players steal encounters from other things you've run. Be a dirty DM.
Listen, this actually happened without my influence, but 2 campaigns I'm running have now included a smart ogre, because clearly one author stole from another. These are pre-written campaigns that I just picked pieces from. And the smart ogre, great fixture. I think I'm going to put a smart ogre in every campaign from now on. I love my
quantum ogre.
Love my smart quantum ogre. But yeah, just your players aren't going to care. They probably won't notice. If they do notice, they can deal with it.
Steal from yourself, steal from other people. No one's going to sue you unless you publish it for money.
Tip 41. Get your players involved in planning and world building. This is the importance of Session 0. Ask them what they want to see for their characters of the campaign. What are they interested in? Where are their characters from? They may or may not be able to contribute much, but at least ask and try to get their buy-in. It's that simple.
There's a reason we did Session 0 as one of our first episodes. It's probably one of the most important things you can do to set the right tone for your campaign and get your players' involvement and buy-in into the planning and world building. Which leaves us to tip 40. Leave your ego at the door.
Yeah, if you have an NPC that you love, or some part of your homebrew that you've meticulously planned out, and your players just aren't into it, you just got to let it go. You got to let it go. You know, if you try to force it on the game, you try to force your people to love something that you care about, but they don't. No one's having a good time. Shelve it, save it for another time. Pay attention to what people like. But, it's a game that you're playing with other people. It is not your personal soapbox. Just be ready for it.
All right, Rob, I will cast Ego Whip on myself before every game.
So, perform that ego flagellation.
Excuse me, what a boner. I mean, I will manifest the psionic power Ego Whip on myself before every game. Tip 39. You don't have to have everything planned or written down. Leave things open. It's sometimes way better.
Yeah.
Sorry, this was your tip to read.
Nope, that's not my tip to read.
Go ahead and read it.
It was not my tip to read.
Then we're gonna get off. Okay, I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna leave my ego at the.
Oh, you're right. This was my tip to read. Sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot. Sorry. 39. You don't have to have everything. Well, now we're even, Matt. We've both gotten off track once.
Well, fuck.
You don't have to have everything planned or written down, and sometimes. Sorry. Let me start from the very top of this. Tip 39. You don't have to have everything planned or written down, and sometimes it's better to leave things open. You don't have to describe. You don't have to have. Yeah. If something's not going to come up in your game, you don't need to know the alderman's name of the town that's 4 leagues to the east that the players may never visit unless they go to that town. Right? Just have enough to answer the questions that are likely to come up. And then if your players push you in a direction, have that stuff written out.
Yeah, right. That way, planning is something you can do every week and not something you sink 40 hours into and then your players do something that invalidates the final 39. Tip 38, don't be afraid to use a cliche here and there.
Yeah, listen.
Example?
Throw in something like, the cold was like a grave. You can, or, he was...
Or the heat was like a warm gravy.
The snow settled on the world like a blanket. Look, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons here. Yeah. You don't have to be...
Not writing the next great American novel.
This is one of the big problems with the boxed text,
Franzen.
Which we'll discuss later, is that sometimes you just got to give your players an idea of what they're looking at, and you can describe things in detail if they ask. But save yourself some time, energy, and your vocal cords, and just hit them with some basics. 37.
Keep it simple, baby.
Keep it simple, baby. KISSB. 37. It's your game, but take it from me. Be careful with your homebrew, okay? Be sparing with what you change and what you add, especially if you are including classes or weapons.
Friends, have you talked with your children about homebrewing new stats for katanas on their first game?
Have you had the katana discussion yet? Because if you don't, somebody else will.
Thousands of players die every year to a dungeon master who designs a 2d10 damage katana. Listen, Rob, it's the most perfect sword.
It has been folded over 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
It's perfect. It's the perfect blade. No,
I don't know how many times a sword needs to be folded, but 1,000 seems like a lot to me.
It does seem like a lot of times.
Should get some extra damage for that. IMO.
Especially if you're going to include something like a new class. Well, don't, in my opinion, but if you must, I would err on the side of making sure that it is weaker, not stronger than other classes, because chances are you have overtuned it. That's just a tip from us.
Tip 36, learn what the Goldilocks zone is for your group when it comes to talking versus planning. Don't push them if they're having fun, but don't let them get stuck either.
Matt Colville is right. If players are arguing about the consequences of an action, you can let them do that, but don't let them do it forever, especially if you have a group that is prone to never stopping. Let them talk until it seems like they're going into circles, and then give them a prompt.
They're probably ready to make a decision, but with no outside pressure, they won't. Remember, there's different parts of the game. Interacting with each other and arguing over the rules, or not over the rules, over what to do is a fun and important part of the game, but it shouldn't be the only part of the game.
Tip number 35, and this is a great one for combat. Combinations of opponents like a Roper, 2 Drow Wizards, and 3 Spider Swarms, for example, is better than 1 big monster or a dozen of the same mook. This is such a great tip. A bunch of little guys and a lieutenant is always better than twice as many little guys. 1 big bad is almost always not as good as a big bad and some, help. It's so much more interesting. A lot more happens. Just better combats.
Is meaningful choices writ small too, right? If we're fighting 2 Ropers, which one do I attack? I guess the left one? I don't know. They're basically the same. It doesn't matter. But if there's a Roper and 3 Spider Swarms, then your wizard's like, well, I'm going to go cast Burning Hands on that swarm. It's going to burn them all up. That's something useful I can do.
Yep.
Perfect. Done.
Yep. It also gives different players a chance to shine in their own combat element, right?
Mm-hmm. Your players can always encounter something new as long as you're mixing up the combination of setting, scene, action, and types of monsters, right?
Yep.
Sure, they fought a Roper before. Sure, they fought a Wizard before. They've never fought a Roper. 3 Drow Wizards and 4 Swarms of Spiders. Tip 34, always clarify the consequences.
Sometimes this is easier than others, but if they're about to charge through a bunch of attacks of opportunity, say, are you sure? Because there are several guards there with halberds at the ready. Are you prepared for, all these attacks of opportunity? Or if they're about to leap from, a great height and
they say, I jump off the roof of the barn, and you're like, all right, well, that's a 30-foot drop. You'll take 3d6 damage.
Yeah, if
they'll be like, okay, that'll be worth it. Or no, wait, that's going to kill me. My character would know I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. This is a great
tip.
So
this is the, instead of just saying, are you sure you want to do that? Or is that what you want to do? Just be like, hey, this is the consequence, direct, immediate consequence for this action.
I actually ran into trouble with this with my most recent player death. Ooh. Because the player in question, sorry, we're getting off track, but whatever. It's our podcast.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's our podcast.
It's 100 episodes, baby.
Our podcast, we do whatever we want. It was the salvage operation adventure from
Ghosts of
Saltmarsh. And
published by Wizards of the Coast 2019.
The ship was being attacked by a giant elder octopus, which doesn't even have stats, because why would it need stats? It's just supposed to be tearing down this enormous ship. But one of my players decided to swim out as a regular giant octopus into the ocean and squirt ink at the giant elder octopus because she was so excited by being an octopus.
In fact, there was another octopi?
By being an octopus. She was just very excited to be an octopus. Yeah. And I was like, do you really want to go?
You can open jars of peanut butter.
Do you really want to go into the water with this enormous sea creature? And I tried very hard to emphasize quite how large and angry and terrifying it was. But
if the player, and see, this is a common mistake, right? A player could be like, I can turn into a giant octopus too. It'll be giant octopus fight. Right? And then your job as the DM, as Rob did, is to say, this octopus is, a billion times bigger than your even giant octopus. And then if they're like, you know what? I still want to go do it. Then that's on them.
And that's on them. Tip number 33.
And that octopus died in Octo Combat?
That octopus died in Octo Combat. They failed. They failed the mission. The octopus was carrying the lockbox, which they had gone to the ship to recover.
Lockbox.
While they were fighting the giant octopus, which grappled them and immediately ate them. And so not only did they die, but they completely failed the mission. It was probably the most catastrophic Dungeons and Dragons event that has ever happened. Like they couldn't even try again. It was amazingly bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, tip number 33. When thinking about different players, don't think about types, but think about what they like to do. Are they socializers? Are they role players? Are they planners? Are they dice rollers? Give everybody something to do.
Right. Think about when you're trying to categorize your players. Right. Think about, instead of focusing on who they are, focus on what they like to do. Oh gosh, it's like John Cusack says in High Fidelity. It's not what you're like, it's what you like that matters. And that, I think, holds true for your player characters, right? Think about what they like to do and make space for those things to be done.
Absolutely.
Key to happiness. Tip 32, stay behind the curtain.
Yeah, tell your players what they need to know, but keep some mystery in your game. Doesn't matter how high they roll on their history check. Keep some things to yourself. Maintain some mystery. You don't have to tell them everything. Give them something else to find.
More information for players is better, but the world has to remain a little bit mysterious.
That's right.
Especially if it's something that you've designed to be mysterious.
Tip 31, be generous with hooks. Give your players all sorts of things to latch onto. This doesn't necessarily mean that they have to have anything attached to them, but drop interesting objects and people and ideas.
Listen, there's a reason that those all published adventures have a table of 20 rumors per
Yes,
village,
rumors are so good.
You want things around happening all the time.
They don't have to act on any of these, but if they want to, that's great.
And guess what? 9 out of 20 of them can lead them in the general direction that you think that you have stuff planned. Boom.
That's right.
Yeah. Easy. All right. Tip 30. When preparing your plots and situations and scenarios and when you're writing your campaign, always ask yourself, what will happen if the players do nothing? Or what will happen if the players didn't exist, right? And stealing this from D. Vincent Baker. I love this tip more than anything.
Yeah, and the key thing is that when you ask that question, the answer should not be exactly the same thing that would happen if they existed, which is a major... It should be
something different and usually something worse.
Which is a major failing of many movies and video games and otherwise, where you can step back and realize, oh, if the player weren't there, or the main character weren't there, it actually wouldn't matter. You do not want that to happen. So just make sure that the players are having an impact on the game.
An example of this would be Bruce Willis's character from Die Hard. If he wasn't there, Everything would have gone exactly the same.
No, that's not true. Matt,
give me an example of this from a movie.
Matt, that's not true. If he hadn't been there, all the hostages would have been killed in the explosion on the rooftop.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's a perfect example of what you would plan out as the dungeon master.
An example
the hostages
of this
would be
is
killed on the rooftop, and the terrorists would get away.
Yes.
John McClane stops that.
The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the main character, it doesn't actually appear to make much of an impact on the overall events of the game. That's an example. Don't do that. That's bad. Number 29, even if it's just a few bullet points, provide a recap at the end of the session for your players. This could be in the form of an email or written down, or you can just deliver it via oratory at the beginning of every session, but do something. It will help, I promise.
Last time, tap 28, Rob. We're doing taps now. Prepare stalling tools, encounters, or NPCs you can put anywhere if your players throw you for a loop.
Yeah, this is an emergency, but I like to have just sort of a combat or an NPC in case...
It's not ideal, but...
If something really... If I'm, like, absolutely just flat-footed and I need some time to, like, figure out what's going on... Ninja attack! But something that, like, works within... You know, maybe there's somebody who's been following them around that periodically attacks, and... You just have them show up at this particular time so you can figure out what the fuck you're going to do next.
Right. This is, I mean, you know, break glass in case of emergency. There's ninja assassins there that have been following your players.
Yep. Not ideal, but something to have. Tip number 27. Enjoy what you're doing. Do not run a high fantasy game if you don't like Tolkien. Yeah. You don't have to. I still feel like a lot of players think they have to play a high fantasy game or a D&D game.
I mean, tip 26 does say run a high fantasy game. You're trying to be Tolkien.
This is Dungeons and Dragons, fuckers. Run a high fantasy game. Yeah. Swords, kings, queens,
sorcery,
dragons.
Sandals.
Yeah, swords, sandals, Battlestar Galactica. No, don't do it if it's not fun. Run the game you want to play. Have a good time.
Tip 26, don't railroad your players. But, you know, don't let them just flail around aimlessly either.
Right. I feel like some people go too far in the other direction. Don't railroad. Don't tell them what to do, but give them guidance. Don't be afraid to say, well, here are some things that you can do or you're supposed to be doing or some tasks you've been given. Don't just, like, let them...
Right. Here are the things around you, right? Remember, bombard them with more things and remind them of what they thought was interesting. They're just people. They probably forgot. It's not that they don't
be afraid to give them.
They don't remember what happened 3 weeks ago.
Give them a little push. It's okay. Give them a push.
Yonder come a Miss Rosie. I knew her, do you know? Well, I knows about her apron and the dress she wore. Amarillas on the shoulder, piece of paper in her hand. Well, I'm going and ask the governor. He trying to lose my man, let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. When you get
wait, is this me? Is me 25?
Listen, friends, comrades, we are down to the top 25. These
are top 25 tips.
Top quartile of tips
that we definitely ordered in
These are not ordered, sorry.
That we definitely place some rank on. All right, tip number 25. Get weird and magical. Remember, this is Dungeons & Dragons. Do not limit yourself.
Yes. Your players meet a wizard that serves them where their golem servant serves them wine made out of distilled quintessence of time.
Yes, a celestial that exists on 7 different planes at once and speaks backwards. You know, get weird with it.
We are the Omni Angel, and it opens its 100 eyes, and you see the creation of the universe.
That's right.
Battle for fate inside a demi-plane made of pure, chaos. Just go crazy.
Engage in a riddle game with, a Githyanki sage in, the astral projection of, a god's dream or something like that. The D&D provides you with so many tools and so much weirdness, so do not limit yourself. The world is yours. All worlds are yours.
What was the villain's motivation? Collecting the fillings from the teeth of rich children in this, city. Get weird. All right. Tip 24, don't neglect a session 0. We love session 0.
Yeah, just do something. Do something. Don't do nothing.
We love session 0.
we don't love the voice that Matt's doing. Rob, we do love session 0, Phil.
You little piggies love session 0. Folks, they're telling me they're taking away session 0, but we're bringing it back, folks. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Tip number 23. My voice is going. We've been at this for hours. Time never ends. Speaking of, take 10 minutes to reflect at the end of every session. Keep a notebook.
I love this. This is hard to do. You're tired and exhausted at the end of the game, but if you write down what worked and what didn't work, it will help you out a lot.
It will. Just write something down. Take a few notes. It's a good idea.
Tip 22, don't let the dice take the magic out of the game.
So don't just say 10 piercing damage. The arrow whistled through
Rob,
the air.
Say 10 piercing damage again.
Well, you say it like me, but you shouldn't say just 10 piercing damage. You don't have the same resonant voice that I do. You being the listener, Matt also has a pretty good dungeon mastering voice. But no, don't just say 10 piercing damage. Say, the arrow whistled through the air and strikes the orc in the eye, and he falls over dead. Describe a combat that is happening, not an exchange of numbers. When your players roll high, describe the deftness with which they pick the lock, or the
save exchanges of numbers for the plane of Mechanus. Right?
That's right. That's right.
We are doing a storytelling narrative game.
Yes. Tip number 21: more knowledge is always better. When players are making a choice, let them know as much as they want to know. Encourage them. Right. Give them more information.
Some people might say this contradicts Rob's tip about keeping a mystery, but give them knowledge when they're making a choice, right?
That's right.
Choices are not meaningful unless they know something about those choices, right? Picking left or right doesn't matter unless they have some knowledge, right?
Exactly.
Tip 20, and this is specific to D&D most editions, a natural 20 on the dice is not an automatic success on everything or indeed on most things.
I just wanted to include this because this is a huge mistake, and like a non-zero percentage of questions that we get and that I see are about dealing with this one case, and I just want to put it out here. A 20 is good. It is not automatically a success. Doesn't matter if it's a nat 20. Just bear that in mind.
Right. Specifically, it's an automatic success on an attack roll in combat versus AC.
Yep.
It's not an automatic success if you roll a natural 20 to climb up a 5-mile tall plane of force if you don't have the proper equipment, right? It's not a natural success to sneak across in broad daylight a completely flat plane where Gordon, the all-seeing, is watching you.
Exactly. Tip number 19, basic materials are your best friend. Keep some note cards, some wooden tokens, some glass beads. Just put yourself a little DM's toolkit together. You're going to be glad you did. It doesn't have to...
Make your players, fold them some name tints out of scratch paper.
Some little tokens that can be used to stand in for anything for when you don't have the right miniature. It's just, this will help. I promise.
Having note cards and scratch paper is more important than having the most expensive dwarven forged terrain and all this stuff.
100%.
Tip 18, when in doubt, draw it out. Listen, it's hard for players to understand things unless they can see it sometimes.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate, but it's true. Have a map, even if it's a map, even just of the region. Just pull one up, or send one to them, print one out, draw it out, or if it's a dungeon, at least give them a rough sketch, even if you don't like to use the tactical grid. Yeah. It's just it's going to help.
They're around a city, they're having trouble, be like, all right, draw them a circle and be like, oh, the apothecary is about here, here's where the temple is, the southern gate is here, and this is where the docks are. And they're like, oh.
Yeah, it'll help.
Okay.
As clear as you think it is to you, it's not, so just be ready to draw it out.
Listen, the weird arcane runes symbol levers, they look like this. Here's where the levers are. Here's where the runes are. Here's where the handle to the door is. They're like, oh.
Yes, the perfectly spherical puzzle, which I described to you with, equidistant symbols. Here, it looks like this. And they'll say, oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Number 17. Published adventures are not any easier to run than a homebrew adventure. They require sometimes almost as much prep.
Yeah.
Read those adventures, but don't assume that just because somebody else did the work for you that you can get away with not preparing.
Listen, no one has had a less fun time at Dungeons & Dragons. They probably still had fun than a game where the dungeon master is constantly flipping back and forth through their published module, trying to find something because they don't know what's going on. Like, listen, the published module itself is kind of the starting point.
Yep.
Only. Tip 16, the best relationship to foster at your table is the role play and interactions among your player characters.
Yep. This is the thing that you should emphasize the most and encourage the highest. This is the one thing that you can't really manufacture. This is good. This is the gold standard of D&D fun and gaming.
Your players are role-playing among their characters. You want to encourage that. It starts with role-playing with your NPCs, but once they're going on their own, that's amazing.
Tip number 15. Take breaks in the middle of your session. Just build at least one in. And if your players look tired, suggest, hey, let's just take a 5. This is great. Just make sure that you got breaks. Doesn't matter if you're having a short session. Doesn't matter if you don't have much time to play. I promise it'll be better if everyone gets a little break in the middle.
Listen, for every at least 2 hours of play, you probably need about a 10-minute break.
At least.
Tip 14. Listen, if you're running a box or a published adventure, the box text sucks. No one wants a 7-sentence description of a room. I
will read one sentence and then move on. The whole thing is worthless.
This goes for your own play, even if you're not running a published adventure. Be your character's senses, as we said before, but don't, describe and describe and describe. Have a conversation instead, right? Say, where do you look? Where do you, see? And then tell them, right? To get them interacting with the environment instead of you just describing it to them.
Tip number 13, the unluckiest of tips, is bring extra dice. Bring dice.
Yep.
It's your job. Your players aren't going to remember. Bring a bag of dice.
Honestly, especially with new players, right? If someone doesn't have dice, honestly, it's your fault.
Yep. Look.
Basically, assume that no one will bring anything.
Yeah, well, definitely assume that no one will have anything, but if nothing else, bring extra dice. Every game store has a bag of dice. Buy a bag of dice.
Right.
You'll be glad you did.
Pound of dice. Tip 12. Ignore all the advice out there on the internet about critical failures. This is an inverse of our earlier tip about a natural 20 not being an automatic success on everything. A natural 1 is not an automatic failure on anything. And in fact, rules as written is not some kind of special failure.
Yes. All those rules, those tables about, you cut off your foot or you suffer an injury are terrible. And they punish players who roll more, like fighters and rangers and barbarians, over wizards who sometimes never have to roll because they make other people roll. It is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Critical failures are terrible. Do not use them.
I've seen dozens of published products and hundreds of pieces of advice on forums and things like that about making your critical failures interesting. Honestly, don't bother.
Absolutely do not.
Bad advice.
Don't do that. Tip number 11. Consistency in scheduling, in rulings, in behavior is the key to a solid D&D experience. Meet at the same time every week if you can. Make the same decisions no matter who is on the other end. Be consistent in the way that you act towards others. It doesn't matter so much what you're doing as long as you are fair in all of the things that you do, and consistency will make it easier for you to keep on doing the things that you do.
Rob, we will always be consistent. Bzz.
Bzz.
I made that tip more fun by adding a B voice.
A B sound.
All right. We're almost there. We're still alive. All right. Tip 10. Top 10.
Top 10.
Reward inventive and outside the box thinking.
D&D includes, the 5th edition includes a mechanism for this in inspiration, where you can give them a extra die if they've done something cool. But if your players do something off the wall or they come with a great idea, even if it doesn't actually have the effect they want, make sure you encourage that. Give them some sort of in-game reward, or at least say, hey, that's a great idea, and tell them why it doesn't work or whatever. But definitely encourage that type of behavior.
Encourage the behavior you want, and I think most dungeon masters would prefer the player who, when fighting the bandits in the wine cellar, says, "Ha-ha," and uses their rapier to cut the ropes holding the barrels of wine to the wall and have them all roll out. If you don't have that have a cool effect, players will stop looking to try those types of things.
Yep. It's just that simple.
Give it a cool effect.
Tip number 9, learn your player character's abilities, especially for new players. This is a bit of an overlap with before, but I want to add on to it.
Emphasize the new player part, too.
I also want to say, especially for your new players, learn their roles, because they're not going to know them. And you want to get in the habit of asking them at least once a session, okay, what do you need? What is your to hit? But you're going to probably want to know like what their to hit bonus is and like what their basic saves are so that you can keep the combats moving. Don't like take all the power out of their hands, but be like, okay, great. You roll a +5 with your longsword. This, especially for new players who are going to have trouble remembering how to add up their attack rolls. Just make sure you know this. That's your job.
We're just saying, especially for your new players, give them a little bit of extra support in the mechanics side of things by relearning their special abilities and what they can do. And that leads into tip 8, give your new players a leg up. All right. This works best if you have like 1 or 2 new players, maybe if not everyone's new, but give them a little summary cards of their spells. If you noticed last time they were struggling on deciding what spell to cast, right? Or if they looked really disappointed that they didn't cast a spell when one would be good. Right?
Pay attention to what your new players have and what they're struggling with, and give them some little cheats, like a little card that explains their spell, a quick summary of all their relevant rolls, highlight some things on their sheets. Pay attention to your new players, because this is the hardest part, especially if you've been playing for a long time and you don't necessarily think about how hard this stuff is.
Yeah, especially if there's lots of players that are experienced at the table and they're feeling a little out of their depth.
And this relates, of course, to tip number 7, the luckiest of tips. Learn and practice how to explain the game. And this is something that Matt and I are going to expand on in a later episode, because
in a whole episode.
Because I really loved how they did this in Microscope. But think about how you teach the game, right? How do you explain what the game is and how to play it? And this is something that is actually sort of hard to do. It's actually very hard to do, and the published modules don't do a great job of helping you do it. The player's handbook doesn't do it. The DM's guide doesn't do it. But start thinking about how to explain the game, especially to your new players.
Tip 6, dungeon mastering is as much about social relations as it is about numbers. Pay attention to your players.
There's a perception, I think, among some older DMs that, what matters is mastery of the system, but nothing could matter.
Or maybe just more online DMs.
Yeah, more online DMs.
I feel like it's way more it's way better to make fun of internet people than old
I'm being uncharitable because I'm remembering the people that I grew up playing with. But
sure.
The point is that mastery of the system matters very little for the DM, or nowhere near as much as your ability to manage people and social relations. You don't have to be any sort of master you don't have to be a social butterfly. You just have to be able to deal patiently with people, and that's important. Put that first.
Some people came to me with a problem. Sure, I had all these solutions, but you know what my first step was, Rob? As the wisest man in the world, what did I do? I listened. Listen and watch your players. Observe them. In not a creepy way, right? So that you can tend to their needs.
That's right. Tip number 5. Set a goal, a challenge, if you will, of doing more than one type of play during every session. Role-playing, interaction, exploration, combat. This is also a great way to think about pacing. Make sure that you're breaking up all of your combats with one of these other types of play. And if you can include all of these, or at least, a majority in every session, then you really got it. You've mastered the dungeon.
There are some players who would absolutely love for an entire session to just be interaction role play at the fancy ball, or some players who would love for an entire session to be one long string of combats. I have the feeling that the majority of people want some variety.
Yep. And remember,
intersperse your bites of the combat burger with crunches on your role-playing fries.
That's right. That's right.
Tip 4, make an outside the game check-in just part of your play routine. Yeah.
This is a great thing to do just at the end of every few sessions. Be like, hey, how are we doing? Or email afterwards. Say, hey, how are we doing? Message. Everyone having a good time? Chances,
any suggestions?
Hopefully they'll say, nope, you're doing great. And you can just go on, but just make sure you're asking. It's a simple, easy thing to do.
It's so easy, and it's so easy to forget. But it's like a thing you would do with other adults who are your friend if you're doing anything else. Do it with Dungeons & Dragons. You'll be gratified with the results, and it's a bit of preventative medicine that goes a long way to keeping everyone happy, healthy, and sane.
That's right. Tip number 3 is ties go to the shadow runner. Side with your players.
That's a baseball joke. Ties go runner.
And it's also true in Shadowrun, and it should be true in all your games. If there's a tie, D&D does a pretty good job of spelling these out, but sometimes there's going to be situations where...
literally, ties go to the players, but I think sometimes, right?
Generally, always, in most games, ties go to the players, and if
you're not sure what to do, side with your players.
The basic thing is, yes, if you're not sure what the answer is, and it seems close, side with the player. Whatever benefits the players best... that is what you should pick. It's a good rule. It's a good rule.
Yeah. Tip 2, here are your essential materials. You need to have in front of you every session, pencils or pens, paper with your notes, and some kind of screen. The screen can be a book you place over your notes if you don't want a barrier between you and your players, but that's it. That is your essential toolkit. Anyone who tells you need anything else is saying these are fun extra things you can have, but a DM screen, paper, your notes, and your pencils are all you need. Make sure to never lose them.
That's right.
There's lots of other cool things you can get. You can have a laptop. You can have all this stuff. That's fine.
I frankly would say, listen, I play without a GM screen. I think you just need like your notes and something to take additional notes with. But
you have something too where either the setup at your table is your players cannot see your notes.
Right. So
I think that's important.
It's critical that you have something to obscure your notes. Yep. But I agree with Matt about all this. These are the bare minimums of gaming, role-playing. You do not need anything else. Finally, we have tip number 1.
Rob, wait. Sorry. There's a train coming by. I think I'm going to have to go. Bye.
Tip number 1, the granddaddy of all tips, the greatest tip that has ever been written.
Woo!
Matt, you and I agree on this. Wouldn't you say...
Should we say it together?
Say it together.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Have
fun. Fun. We almost got that.
All right,
that was fun.
Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Let's do it together.
Okay.
Let's do it together, Matt. What is our number 1 tip?
It's
have fun.
Fun.
Yeah, close enough. We tried.
Now we sound like creepy clowns.
Yeah, whatever.
Or something. All right. Yeah.
It's okay. We're sticking with this one. Look, if you're not having fun, what the fuck are you doing? That's just all I'm saying here. The whole point is to have fun. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, get caught up in a bunch of things that are not fun. You don't have to do any of those things. You don't have to play with people you don't like. You don't have to do things you don't like. Yes, this game is complicated, and it is sometimes fraught. And I don't mean to say that it's not serious, because sometimes it can be quite serious. But it's a game, and it's enjoyable, and it is fun. And you should have fun doing it. That's all that I'm saying. Have fun, people.
And that's all we hope for you and yours this
holiday Honda season.
This Toyota-thon season. We hope you are gathering around the burning chestnuts, have lit your Christmas tree on fire, are together at your black Christmas Eve mass.
Since
as Dungeons & Dragons players, we're all Satanists.
Snuffed the lights on your menorah to... make sure that the Roman legionaries do not see and murder you, defending the temple of the Maccabees. I'm sorry, my Jewish friends, I don't remember exactly how the Hanukkah story goes. Something like that.
Rob, you probably know more about the Roman festival of Saturnalia than you do about Hanukkah. We know where your loyalties
the Feast of Sol Invictus, unconquered sun. Everyone praise and rejoice the Roman emperor.
Folks, we're bringing him back.
We're bringing back Sol Invictus. We're bringing back the sun.
People are saying the sun was conquered,
he's
but he's not anymore.
Never been conquered, folks. Never been conquered.
He's coming back. We're going to bring him back. It's getting dark, but then it's going to get light again.
Unconquered sun. He never goes away. Isn't that great, folks? Never goes away. Unconquered sun. All right.
He comes back.
Seriously, everybody.
And just like the sun, one day
we will
return.
Thanks, honestly, to everybody for listening and for to all of our listeners. We don't ask you for anything, but we're really, really glad you listen. So, this means a lot to us, and we really do hope, we've already gotten emails saying that they started a game because of us. And if, honestly, it's like one person does that, let's make this whole podcast worth it. We just want people to play D&D. We love D&D. Play D&D. Yeah. We hope we've demystified it and made it fun for you. So, we
will ask something of you at a later date when you hear me say, execute order 66. But until then...
Actually, the code word is a lot more subtle than that. When you're activated as a sleeper agent, you aren't going to know it. It's not going to be weird for you. You won't remember it. It's fine. We'll see you all in the new year.
The letters, the support, the ratings, the numbers, we love them.
We love them.
We appreciate it.
We do love to see it. And thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thank you so much.
And keep rolling them dice.
Beyond the mountains and tresses of the sea, dark horizons, black rumble with the voice of prophecy. We are standing steadfast against the gathering dark.